The UFC is leaving the Big Apple and heading to Asia for their annual Qatar fight night, but it's not just a regular fight night. We have a lightweight title eliminator in the main event. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC Qatar fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. But before we talk about this card, go back and watch the vlog from the last card. I am filming this before the vlog is out, so I don't know what the thumbnail is going to look like, but I can promise you I have been filming video for an entire week to film a vlog for UFC 322. If you don't know what those are, basically for giant pay-per-view events, we have some people over, we drink, we eat, we have a good time, we film our live reactions, and we vlog the entire day, maybe the week, depending on what's going on. Here's a couple of previous thumbnails to give you an idea of what they might look like. Check out the vlog. If it's not up at the moment you're watching this, it'll be up very shortly. So check out the UFC 322 vlog. I can promise you it is a very entertaining one. And before I break down this card, we are not done with fights for the year. We still have some monster events coming up. We have UFC Qatar, then we have UFC 323, and then we have a very solid fight night to close out 2025 before we head over to the Paramount era. If you want to unlock every pick, every bet, every tool, if you want to unlock the artificial intelligence, if you want to check out every single freaking thing that we have to offer, you can do so now. Go to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's $10 for everything, for literally everything. There's a whole bunch of fights left in this year. Let's go ahead and break down this card. The fight order is certainly going to change, but we have 14 fights, some of which are very good, others of which have brand new faces. I have put together more brand new UFC fighters on this card than any previous card this year. We have a lot of debuts, which means we got a lot of money to make, but we also have a couple of landmines from the relatively unproven guys. We're going to open up this fight card with Nurullo Aliev taking on Shaqueme Rock. We're just going to call him Shamrock from now on. Nurullo Aliev, as we know, a dominant wrestler. He's been competing his entire life. People like to call him Khabib, A, because he looks like him, and B, because he kind of competes like him. Obviously, he's accomplished literally nothing in this sport, but as far as the style is concerned and the execution, they're very similar. Straightforward wrestling game plan. He's got pretty good striking, a decent jab. He's light on his feet, and he'll go for takedown after takedown after takedown with very good control. His takedowns are powerful. They are relentless. They're not the fastest. He's not insanely fast. He doesn't set things up ridiculously well, but he's got a nice jab. He pumps in your face and he shoots some takedowns. He's coming off that decision win over Joe Selecki where he had 2 takedowns and 8 full minutes of control. He's taking on Shem Rock, a long, lean grappler who does a really good job transitioning from wrestling to jiu-jitsu. He'll shoot a takedown and then immediately look for control or to advance. He shoots, and while he is running through that takedown, he's trying to climb your back. He's trying to wrap around. He is already anticipating where they're going to land so he can get a jiu-jitsu advantage. He's not just a desperate grappler. He's got good range, a nice southpaw stance where he'll throw out teep kicks and try to manage that distance. I would not say his striking is good. I'm not going to go that far. But what I will say is that it's serviceable, and it does a really good job setting up the actual striking. This is wrestler versus grappler, meaning one of these guys is looking to jiu-jitsu it up, and the other one's looking to get some takedowns. I'm going to go with the wrestler. Nurullo Aliev is going to be the pick here. I think he gets past that teep kick. I think he gets the takedowns. I think he rides Shem out on top. I did a lot of digging. I did a lot of fight watching into Shem's grappling. He can definitely grapple on top and off of his back, but he does overreact to being hit. So a couple of elbows from Nurullo on top tells me Shem's going to curl up. He's not going to fully set things up. He's not going to keep the arm, try to throw up an arm bar. He's going to take a few elbows, kind of panic a little bit, and Nurullo should run away with this. Should be a pretty straightforward win. I also think it's going to be boring, but Nurullo Aliev is going to be the pick. Then we have another UFC newcomer. We have Saygid Izagakhmaev. That wasn't remotely close to how you say this guy's names, but we have Saygid taking on Nicolas Dalby. Side gig. This guy fights pretty well. And if you looked at him and you said, I have an idea, I know how he's going to fight, you're not wrong. Look at the last name. It ends in an Ov. He's got all beard, no mustache. These would not be incorrect assumptions to make, but it is very important to note that he is a powerful striker. Of course, the beard, the no mustache, he can wrestle. We knew that. But what separates him from the rest of the beard, no mustaches, is he is calm. He is patient. He has pressure. He has explosive power on the feet. He walks you down methodically. He will blast low kicks. He will look for openings, and then he'll throw straight rights. The wrestling is very effective. He's got incredible control and damage on top if he decides to use it. He's taking on Nicolas Dalby, the karate-style striker. He stays mobile. He'll switch stances. He's got those weirdo breathing techniques, but that clearly works because cardio-wise, for 41 years old, pretty fantastic. He has a good amount of power, but he is very hittable himself. He averages a little more than 1 takedown per fight, but he does have a very low 27% takedown accuracy. His striking is okay. His grappling is okay. All in all, pretty well-rounded guy who will work hard, but he's not dangerous. Nicolas Dalby's not really getting rid of anybody, although we did just see in his last fight, he dropped Randy Brown before he got KO'd. His nose was smashed in early in that fight. Nicolas Dalby has officially turned the corner, right? He went from heavy-breathing weirdo to the age where the UFC says, you're done, we're going to use you to build up young Russian prospects. That's exactly what we have here. They're giving Saygid over here a showcase fight. They're trying to get Dalby's old ass out of there and get him smashed up. That's exactly what will happen here. I fully expect Saygid to dominate, whether he can knock out Dalby or just drown him with the wrestling. It doesn't matter. This is not a close fight. The odds are closer than they should be. I think Saygid just runs through an old, starting to get chinny Nicolas Dalby. Then we have good old American wrestler Ryan Loder taking on Ismail Naurdiev. This is a very close fight. Do not let these 2-to-1 odds fool you. Ryan Loder, Division I wrestler. He is the ultimate fighting champion. In the octagon, cautious wrestler. He walks forward. He gauges distance. He tries to get you to back up, and then he'll just shoot, wrestle. He does not throw a ton of strikes offensively, but what he will do is plot forward, wait for you to overcommit on a strike or you to try to do something, and then he'll shoot an actual takedown or push you against the cage and try to work from there. On the ground, very good control. He's not looking for a finish. He is coming off that knockout loss to Izagakhmaev. He's taking on Ismail Naurdiev. This guy's an aggressive striker. He can also grapple as well. He has competed as a kickboxer and separately as a wrestler, but for some reason, even though he has those two skill sets, he hasn't put them together in the octagon or in any cage or ring. If you check out the regional tape, he's either striking or he's grappling. He's not really mixing them together well. He's had a couple of stints in the UFC. First, he showed up between 2019 and 2020. Most recently, he kicked off last year with a win over Bruno Silva. He likes to bounce between welterweight and middleweight. He seems to have more success at middleweight, but he is a little bit undersized. He's coming off that decision loss to Jung Young Park, where he was fast, he was busy, but he gave up 2 points. Not 1, but 2 points for an illegal knee. And this is a very tricky fight to break down because I do not think Ryan Loder is very good. Likely not a UFC level guy, just a very good wrestler, great looking too. But I'm also not convinced that Naurdiev is very good. He's a bit undersized, especially for middleweight. And if Ryan wants to bully him, he probably can. I'm going to pick Ismail because I think the striking volume might get Ryan to panic wrestle. And if he panic wrestles, it's going to be from too far out. And Ismail should be able to defend. How we have a 2-to-1 favorite here is, I don't know. It's beyond me. I think this is a very competitive matchup. I would not be surprised by a Ryan Loder win here. He's a very good underdog. I'm going to pick Ismail because while Ryan is a very good wrestler, Ismail can do more. And like I said, I think the forward pressure, the volume might get Ryan to shoot from too far away and then have an issue. This fight might absolutely suck, or it might be a bar burner, probably staying away from it bet-wise. Then we have the promo. Go to the website, look at the URL on your screen, go to that. On that page, we'll have a couple of affiliate links. You click on an affiliate link, you sign up with whatever link you clicked on, you make a deposit, we send you $50 as a thank you. It's very simple. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay me a one-time commission. I'm going to slice off $50 and I'm going to give you a one-time thank you payment. Very straightforward. Use the links, sign up, make a deposit, get yourself a couple extra bucks. My recommendation is you check out each offer, who's going to deposit match you more, who's going to have the best odds, the best promos. There's a whole bunch of choices to make there, but use the link, sign up, make the deposit, get yourself 50 smackerinos. Then we have a returning Kyoji Horiguchi taking on Tagir Ulanbekov. You're going to see a lot of beards and 0 mustaches on this guy. Not a single. They couldn't even squeeze in a Vince Pichel to make up for all the Dagestani no mustaches. It's like the Yankees. If you guys don't know, the Yankees had a very strict no facial hair policy. It's a similar situation. Only beard, no mustache policy when you're fighting over there. We got Kyoji Horiguchi. It's not a name that you might remember, but I promise you, this guy was a long-standing staple of the 125-pound division, both in the UFC and out of it. He actually fought Demetrius Johnson for the UFC flyweight title 10 years ago. His official UFC record is a ridiculous 10-1. He did leave and then hit the international circuit for a while, and now he is back. Style-wise, he's fast, he's athletic, he's a very good striker, he's got great footwork, he loves to bounce in and out of rage. He can wrestle as well, but it's typically his backup plan. He's not coming forward with a wrestle-heavy game plan. He's taking on Tagir Ulanbekov, a dominant come-forward wrestler with decent striking. He's got a nice jab. Right behind that jab is a takedown attempt. 5 of his 6 UFC wins were very grappling heavy with 15 takedowns and 2 submissions. He's not very athletic. He's not very fast, but he is strong. He's got great control. He's coming off that very close win over Azat Maxim where he could not get a takedown. He tried. He couldn't do it, but he continued to press forward. You will see the scorecards as 30-27, I promise you. That is not an indication of how insanely close that fight actually was. And if this fight was 5 years ago, it might look a little different here. If Kyoji was a little younger, we could have an interesting situation because his first UFC stint, I think he was too young. And now I think he's a little too old. They're relatively close in age, but they have very different miles on them. He is a fun guy. He's a great addition to the roster or a great re-addition to the roster. This is just a shit matchup. A big, strong wrestler who can get him against the cage and drag him down. That is not a recipe for success. I actually don't know why the UFC did this to him. They should have given him like a Mitch Rapiso or somebody that will stand there and bang with him so we can see the speed, we can see the showcase, and they can push another Japanese fighter. I mean, they're trying to attack that market. They've got a couple of stars right on the verge. I don't know why they wouldn't try to give Horiguchi a win. Instead, they said, here's one of the, if not the stylistic toughest matchup in this division for you. Good luck. Tagir's going to win this fight. I expect this to be very dominant. I think we're going to get a shit ton of takedowns, a lot of control. I do not think this is going to be a close fight. I don't know why the UFC is just destroying this dude's first fight out. Then we have Bogdan Grad taking on Luke Riley. I told you there's going to be a bunch of names on this card you didn't remember. I told you. Here we go. What am I, 5 fights in? Most of you have not heard of at least one fighter in all 5 of these. We got Bogdan Grad. He's a well-rounded guy. He's got solid striking. The striking's very straightforward. Nothing fancy. He sticks to jabs. He has nice setups, and he doesn't even chase knockouts. He's got heavy kicks. He will invest in the legs early to try to slow you down. He'll work in some wrestling as well. He'll attempt multiple takedowns and then focus on control more than submissions. He is coming off that loss to Muhammad Naimov where he was a little undersized, and a third-round scramble probably cost him that win. He's taking on Luke Riley. This guy is a carbon copy of almost every other Cage Warrior signing. He's fast. He's an athletic striker. He does everything possible to keep fights on their feet. He does have plenty of finishes. He does a great job doing damage in the clinch. His takedown defense is decent, and if he is taken down, he stays busy. He looks to work up. His combinations are impressive where he works your body and your head in the same exchange. It'll be like boom, boom, up top, straight right, back to the body. Very impressive. Overall, a fun fighter, a pretty good addition to this division. Fun matchup. 2 guys that are going to get after it. Luke is going to be faster. He's going to be the cleaner striker. Bogdan's going to have the better wrestling, the grappling advantage. He's got some dog in him. So we need to decide, do we think Bogdan gets the takedowns or do we think Luke keeps his fight standing? I'm going to lean Luke. He's just faster, cleaner striker. Every fight starts on the feet. I typically lean the wrestler, but it's not as if Bogdan's like an unbelievable wrestler. He'll just keep chasing takedowns. His entire fight library, every tape I watched of Luke Riley fighting was him defending takedowns and then finding finishes. Every single person he has fought has tried to take him down. So this should be no different. There should not be any surprises here. Somebody's going to try to take him down. He's going to stay on his feet. I think the speed is going to be the biggest factor here, so Luke is going to be the pick, but we need to be very insanely, ridiculously careful. This would not be the first overhyped Cage Warriors prospect who actually sucks shit. Do I need to remind you of Harry Hardwick, where Cage Warriors are like, we have another champion that made it to the UFC. Look at us. We're the best regional promotion in the world. And then that guy got fucking smoked. Cage Warriors might suck. I don't know. Luke Riley's going to be the pick, but we need to be careful when we're jumping on some of these bandwagons. Then we have the closest fight on the card. Odds-wise, these odds continue to flip. By the time you're watching this, Aleksandre might be the favorite. He might be an even bigger underdog. I have seen the line yo-yo, and I fully understand this is a fun fight. This is a competitive fight. This is not an easy fight to get through. We have Bekzat Almakhan taking on Aleksandre Topuria. Bekzat Almakhan, he's a very good fighter. Tight, dangerous striking, excellent offensive wrestling. He's smooth on his feet. He fires away in the pocket. As soon as you're comfortable in a kickboxing match with him, he will transition to body locks and singles to look to get you to the ground. He does lack some control on the ground. He has no shortage of cardio, so he'll just restart the exchange and do it all over again. He is very dangerous with a whole bunch of knockouts, the most recent of which was over Brad Katana a few months back. He's taking on Aleksandre Topuria. Obviously, Ilia Topuria's older brother. They look alike. Not crazy. There's that other weird guy that looks exactly like Ilia Topuria, the guy on social media that does the look. These two look alike. They actually fight pretty similar as well. His brother, Aleksandre, high-level wrestler. He's been wrestling since he was a small child. Striking-wise, he's got powerful strikes. He's a little creative. He's not nearly as technical as you would like him to be, but he does make up for clean technique with raw power, pressure, and a willingness to engage. He's a high-paced guy. He does fight with a chip on his shoulder. He's very angry. He's looking to get you out of there. He is coming off the decision win over a short notice Kobe Thickness. Most people, if you're picking Bekzat, I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, Aleksandre's only loss was a knockout. And then they're going to fail to mention that that one knockout was 10 years ago. And it was up in weight. What I do think, though, is there will be a valid argument to be made that Bekzat can win this fight, especially at these odds, especially as a dog as well. But I don't think it's as easy as, well, Bekzat hits hard enough to knock people out. Topuria has been knocked out before. 1 + 1 = 2. I'm actually going to pick Aleksandre here. He's a dog right now. I think he's the better pick because I think the Greco-Roman wrestling will suit him well. If you don't know the difference, I saw a comment last week when I mentioned Greco-Roman wrestling. Hey, can you explain the difference? If we look at wrestling, if you're from America, there's a third option. If you're from America, we have folk-style wrestling. That's what you see in college. That's what you see in high schools all over the country. Everybody else in the world has Greco-Roman or freestyle. Freestyle wrestling is where you're shooting, you're grabbing singles, you're running the pipe, you're trying to throw people over your head. Greco-Roman wrestling, you're not allowed to touch the legs. It is all upper body throws. There is no leg attacks whatsoever. It's throws and turns. Typically speaking, Greco wrestling doesn't translate as well to MMA because you want to be able to attack the legs and trip and things like that. In this fight, it might suit him well because if he can pressure Bekzat up against the cage, I don't care what these numbers say, I expect Topuria to be bigger and stronger. If he could push Bekzat up against the cage, we could get some good, solid upper body work in. Topuria is going to be the pick. I think his skills translate well, but we can't just continue to ride this guy because of his last name. They are not every brother is the same. Look at Muhammad Usman and Kamaru Usman. I don't think this is that dramatic of a difference, but I don't think Aleksandre Topuria is Ilia Topuria, and I think Bekzat is phenomenal at -115 or even plus money if it continues to go that direction. I'm going to be on the Topuria side. You need to be very careful in this fight. Then we have the break. This is the intermission. This is when Big Papa Bo tells you about all the cool things the website has. If you have never been to the website, just check it out. You don't even have to sign up. Just check it out because there's a lot of people in this space, right? When we started a few years ago, there were not a lot of people in this space. There was a handful of people that blew up during COVID, and now they're slowly dying because their channels got a COVID boost, meaning when the entire world was at home just consuming YouTube content, everybody's views were up. Everybody's subscriber counts were up. We didn't exist yet. We weren't here during COVID. We came after the fact. So we didn't artificially benefit from the new viewers. And I say artificial. They're real humans that were watching your videos, but then when life went back to normal, so did they, and they stopped watching, which ultimately destroyed a lot of the OG channels. Some of those OG channels were selling their variation of picks and bets. Usually, check out my Patreon, something to that effect. We took it a step further. We said, fuck a Patreon. We're going to build a full-blown interactive website. We're going to have tools on that website, and we're going to build the greatest offering this space has ever seen because we love fights. We know our fans love fights, and we know there's a giant portion of the community that likes to make money watching fights. And even if they don't, People love to play daily fantasy. People love to do some prize picks, some underdog. People love to find some spots and sort of raise the stakes while watching their favorite sport. So if you go to WeWantPicks.com, you will see, of course, a list of picks, a list of bets, not just from me. There's 5 of us. You'll see an artificial intelligence, and you'll see a whole suite of tools. One of those tools is the fight simulator. This simulates fights 100,000 times, gives you the individual outputs from those simulations. It can build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. It can build FanDuel fantasy lineups for you, or you can deep dive the stats and find some striking lines, find some takedown lines, and really just attack this from all angles. I use this not so much for the DraftKings component, but I use it for the over-unders on strikes and takedowns while placing bets. Check it out, WeWantPicks.com. This and a million other things are on the website. And then we have a couple of big boys. We have Marek Bujlo taking on Denzel Freeman. This is a fight that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Not the matchup. The matchup makes sense to me, and I'm very clear on my pick. What doesn't make sense to me is you people, and we'll get to that in a second. We're going to start with Marek Bujlo. Big boy grappler. He will strike as little as humanly possible. If he could throw 0 punches, he would prefer to do that. He's going to rush forward, try to get a takedown. You're not going to see him shoot a ton of shots, but you will see him push you against the cage, drag you to the ground. He is definitely a better grappler than most heavyweights, but he's not a good striker. On the ground, he will seamlessly transition from strikes to submissions. He doesn't care what you do at all. He is always looking for a finish. He's taking on Denzel Freeman, a fun heavyweight who will knock you out, throw you, submit you, or just fight you anywhere. This guy does not care. He will bring the fight to you. He is a highlight reel of impressive actions. He's got powerful head kicks, clean boxing. If you pressure him, he'll lower his level. He'll shoot a takedown. If he gets you against the cage, he won't just drag you to the ground. He'll throw his hips in and he will toss you to the ground. He will attempt everything from lateral drops to shoulder throws. He is a high-level wrestler with very good power in his hands. And that is why I have no idea why 75% of you have voted on Tapology that Marek wins this fight. You are all convinced. 75% is a lot. 75% of you have all picked Marek with confidence. Either I'm stupid or the 600 of you are. I don't know which yet. We'll find out, right? On Saturday, we will all find out together. Maybe I'm the idiot. It wouldn't be the first time. Go ask my wife. She's convinced I'm an idiot, despite me very clearly being the smarter one in the house. I could kick her ass if I wanted to. The breadwinner. I mean, but Angelo's the idiot. Marek doesn't suck, right? He's obviously a very good grappler, but Denzel is a better wrestler, a better striker, and a better athlete. Remember the last time we had a big, strong man grappler? Remember that? Go ask Josh Hokett how that fight went down. He murdered a man. A big jiu-jitsu guy. He murdered him. And Denzel Freeman might do the exact same thing here. I'm going red, white, and blue. We're going with America. Denzel Freeman with the big, powerful shots, the big takedowns if he wants them. Denzel is the pick. I have no idea what I'm missing here. Please let me know. I don't know what the odds are, right? I'm just going off. We don't have odds yet. I'm going off what the people on Tapology said. And they said 75% of them picked Bujlo. What I would not be surprised at is if the odds makers are smart like me, and they look at it and they make Denzel the favorite, and then all these people on Tapology like, oh my God, I picked an underdog? Oh my goodness. And then they change their pick. Or it goes the other way. He's a dog and everybody just goes on the Denzel's the pick. I don't know what I'm missing. If I am missing something, let me know. Maybe I did. Maybe Marek is a world-renowned striker and I just haven't seen it in any of the tape study. Maybe this photo that looks like somebody who recently got lap band surgery, so the fat is just melting off of him and there's extra skin. Maybe this isn't actually him. Maybe I got an incorrect photo and all the fights I watched were wrong. Yeah, we're going with Denzel Freeman. Then we have Rafael Sequeira taking on AbdulRakhman Yakayev. I actually nailed that one. That was shocking. AbdulRakhman Yakayev, nope. Can't do it twice in a row. Solid prospect. He can wrestle. He can strike. He's got great takedowns. Everything from body locks to actual shots up the middle. On the feet, he's got great power, and he throws in combinations. He doesn't just toss one strike out at a time. He doesn't have a ton of volume, but he does have accuracy and a solid chin. When he gets takedowns, he throws out strikes. He'll snatch up some submissions. Overall, well-rounded guy with a wild finishing upside. He's taking on Rafael Sequeira. This guy's patient. He fights pretty loose. He fights pretty fluid. Like, he's not the most comfortable guy in the world, but he's pretty fluid. He'll hit a flow state. He's not in a hurry. He doesn't chase finishes. He doesn't even seem to throw with intent half the time, but he is dangerous. He's athletic enough to be creative on the feet, good enough ground game to hang. He's pretty big at 6'4", 6'3" on some, depending on where you're getting your stats. The reality is he uses his size. He moves forward. He'll get in your face. He doesn't really fight that well on his back foot. Striking is better than most people are going to give him credit for, but this guy can't defend a takedown to save his life. We just saw it happen against Julius Walker where he gave up 6 takedowns. The odds should be what they are. Rafael is better than people are going to give him credit for, but he's still not good enough to win here. Abdul can knock him out. He can take him down 100 times over. Rafael has had a pretty rough go at it. The Julius Walker fight was the only fight that he should have won and couldn't, so then it's like, oh, okay, you just don't belong here. But he is a little better than people are giving him credit for. Abdul's the pick, minus 800. Imagine my surprise when I saw those odds. And imagine your surprise when you download the app and you see how freaking good it is. We have an app. The app is 100% free. You will get push notifications for everything. Obviously, if you happen to be a premium member, the push notification will tell you about a bet we just placed. If you're not a premium member, you'll still get push notifications with updates on fights and content and everything else. Download the app for free from the App Store. Just search We Want Picks. Inside the app, you'll have access to everything. The previously mentioned Fight Simulator, the Data Analyzer, which will run you through each individual fighter on every fight card, compare their stats to their opponent. You can deep dive that information. You can even add filters so that you can look at very specific data points to help you find some prop bets. We have a line movement tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. We have a prop hunter, curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. We have an optimizer that not only does DraftKings fantasy stuff, but FanDuel as well, and it has the first ever anywhere in this industry beginner mode. Every other optimizer on planet Earth expects you to know how to use it. Not us. We understand not everybody is starting here. A lot of people are just getting into all of this. A lot of people are getting into it because they've seen our videos, they've seen some tickets, and it seems like fun. I like fantasy football. Why wouldn't I want to do fantasy fights? I like fights. Great. Use the tools on the website, wewantpicks.com. One of them is the optimizer, and if you want to test it out for the first time ever, just click the beginner mode button. Instead of expecting you to understand what the hell these numbers mean, it's going to ask you very simple, logical questions like, hey, who are your most confident favorites? Yo, any dogs you like? Hey, dumbass, who don't you want in your lineup? It won't curse at you. That's just me. That's not the optimizer. We also have a tape index for those of you who like to do tape study with your own eyes. You need to watch a fighter fight before you can go ahead and place a bet or put him in your lineup. I get it. I'm with you, dog. Check out every single one of those things on the website, wewantpicks.com. It's $10 to unlock all of it. There's no tiers. There's no gotchas. There's no weird snag. There's no, oh, I wanted this. But no, it's $10 for everything. Everything. And here's some of the spectacular cards we got coming up. UFC 323. We have the UFC Vegas at the end of the year. We have UFC Qatar. We have spectacular fights coming up. Give yourself a leg up. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. We also have a bonus. I mentioned this before. If you sign up with any one of our affiliate partners using the links on this very specific URL, we send you $50 as a thank you. Use the link, you sign up, you make a deposit. They're going to pay me a one-time commission because it's affiliate marketing, and I'm going to slice off some of that and give it right back to you. We're going to open up this main card with Volkan Ozdemir taking on Alonzo Menafield in what feels like an old versus old. And it feels like that because it is that. We have 36-year-old Volkan Ozdemir taking on 38-year-old Alonzo Menafield. But both these guys have had a couple of wins recently. Obviously, Volkan just lost to Carlos Ulberg, but the kicks looked early. Those got going. Volkan Ozdemir is actually a very good fighter whose losses are quality. He's a forward pressure striker. He's got power. He's got volume. He throws his hands hard. He throws them often. Volkan has a miserable takedown accuracy at 29%, which can be an issue because if the striking's not going his way, his chin isn't going to keep him there. So he does need to get fights to the ground. He is 7-8 in the UFC, but that is a mixed bag of competition. This guy has fought everybody. Yuri Prochazka, Daniel Cormier, Aliev, most recently Carlos Ulberg, who's probably going to get a title shot. Like, he is fighting the much higher level of competition. He's taking on Alonzo Menafield, Dallas's own. Jacob works out at the LA Fitness. He's seen Alonzo there a handful of times. Alonzo Menafield, great power. Typically pretty good takedown defense. He's always looking to take your head clean off with one single punch. His striking can be wild and it can be sloppy, but the power is undeniable. When Alonzo's coming forward, when he's the aggressor, he is very dangerous. But you can't always trust the decision-making and sometimes the very oddly timed takedown attempts. He is coming off that fraud check win over Umar Sy. This is a fun matchup between a couple of aging vets. They're actually very similar in style. Not skin tone, but style. Very, very similar. Both of them have above average striking. Both of them have above average power. Both of them have below average wrestling. Alonzo is certainly going to be the more powerful guy. Volkan's probably the cleaner of the two. Probably has a little bit better cardio. I'm going to be full rooting for Alonzo Menifield. I love Alonzo Menifield. I love that at any moment he can knock somebody's head off. At the moment, I hated that he beat Umar Sy, but now I love that he exposed that French nerd for being the absolute clown shoe that he is. Big Alonzo fan. I have to slightly lean Volkan here because the leg kicks that he had in that Carlos Ulberg fight were fantastic. And if he does the same thing to Alonzo here, that power will be gone pretty early. And if power is not a factor here, that means Volkan's subpar chin is not a factor, which means the cleaner striker should be able to get the win. I'm going to pick Volkan Ozdemir. These odds are an atrocity. Honestly, a plus 3.5 on Alonzo is not a terrible bet. Alonzo inside the distance decision, no action is not a terrible bet. All the values on the Alonzo side, a Volkan moneyline bet, I mean, you're stupid. Maybe it hits, but you're stupid. Too much risk. Then we have Jack Hermanson taking on Motobek Orobai in what could be billed as Encino Man 2. If you don't know what Encino Man is, back in the 90s, there was a movie where they unfroze a caveman and he just went about his life, hanging out with Pauly Shore, just living day to day. They didn't hire an actor. They actually unfroze a caveman. They found one, they thawed him out in the sun, and it was Motobek Orobai. And here he is. He's evolved, not as a human, he's evolved his career into a professional fist fighter. So we have Jack Hermanson and -1 chromosome Motobek Orobai. Jack Hermanson, great grappler. Striking-wise, he'll hang. He's a little bit busy, but if he takes you down, he's going to be pretty dominant from there. Striking is solid. He's not going to knock anybody out anytime soon. He's got good pressure, though, decent volume. He's not very athletic, but he is tough. And he's got solid fight IQ. That's what comes with 37 years of age and 33 fights. He is reliable. Chin might not be, but he is. He's coming off that KO loss to Gregory Rodriguez at UFC 317. He's taking on Motobek Orobai, a fun grappler who will entertain the striking before fully committing to the wrestling, the grappling pressure. It is all nonstop. He's got plenty of cardio, plenty of power, a good chin. He is missing a chromosome, but he sets a great pace. The striking has been improving. We've also seen what a dog he can be, but not in his last fight. In his last fight, he just got right after it. Very quick win over Tafik Musayev. This is a life savings on the caveman moment for Motobek. He etched it into stone. Archaeologists are going to dig up the game plan 200 years from now. They're going to see in the cave, on the wall, they're going to see the etchings that Motobek put, and it's going to be like takedown, smash, win. That's what we're going to get. Motobek wins this fight. A 37-year-old welterweight Jack Hermanson is not winning this fight. This guy is trying to reinvent himself going down in weight. That's not going to work. The older you get going down in weight, it's just going to make the chin a little weaker. Just going to make the cardio a little more suspect. Motobek's going to get the win here. 10 out of 10 times reinventing yourself at 37 years old going down in weight doesn't really work for you. Motobek's the pick. Do with that information what you choose. Then we have Sergey Spivak taking on Shamil Gaziev. We just broke down a caveman. Now we're breaking down America's Next Top Model. We got Sergey Spivak, a heavyweight grappler who's got pretty good ground and pound, solid takedowns. He's got an okay submission game and a capable grappler. He doesn't knock anybody out, right? He doesn't have that big knockout power, but he does have a good jab, solid volume. The biggest issue for him is control. He'll take you down and then just slide right off. That is how he averages so many takedowns when he's not really going to that many decisions. The problem is he just can be outworked. He can be out-athleted. He's not an athletic guy. We just saw that in the Waldo Cortez-Acosta strike. He had 2 takedowns, but his strikes were almost tripled. He's taking on Shamil Gaziev, a large Dagestani, but instead of being a nonstop wrestler, he grew a little bit of a mustache. See, there's a little bit of a stash there. He didn't full shave it, and that's an indicator that he strikes. Now we know. Full beard, no stash, crotch sniffer. Full beard, partial snatch. I'm saying snatch. Stash, he'll strike a little bit. And that's what he does. He's physically sloppy. You might get nauseous if you look at this image a little too long. At first, when I got this image, I was like, oh shit, he's still wearing his Halloween costume of a bridge troll. Let me find another. And then every image was like, why is he always wearing this like melting subhuman costume? And then I'm like, oh my God, that's just this poor bastard. That's what he looks like. He had to be a fighter. What? There was no other path in life. It's like a face for radio. Like there was nothing else this guy could have done. So he's all in. If he doesn't get a win here, this guy is screwed. He's got power in his hands, thankfully. A good striking style. He can wrestle if he needs to. The cardio's been a little inconsistent. But he did just knock out Thomas Peterson where he was taken down, didn't really care, landed a big straight punch. There's a lot of people who pick fights based solely off of looks. For example, when you're watching a lady fight, more often than not, you're going to pick the one that looks like a 1980s gym teacher instead of the pretty one. You could apply that exact same logic here. The guy who looks like the Slimer from Ghostbusters probably going to win this fight. There's no other option. He's not going to be an Instagram influencer, I'll tell you that. The pick isn't just because he's nowhere near Dagestani's and Mech's top model, right? The pick is because he's the much better striker. I think he's a very capable wrestler, and he can keep this fight standing, absolutely dominate Sergey on the feet, and this is going to be an unfortunate skid for Sergey Spivak because I know that these are good losses. His last loss was a good loss. This would be a good loss. But the reality is, 3-fight skid at this weight class is not going to be good for him or the rest of his career. Then we have the Hayabusa Black Friday sale. If you don't know, we're a Hayabusa partner. We love them. They love us. Hayabusa makes the highest quality stuff out there. Period. End of story. When I was managing Nick Newell, we would use Hayabusa stuff. He used Hayabusa shorts, Hayabusa gloves to train. And then I got myself some Hayabusa gear. I've been training no gi for 100 years. I do have a couple of gis. I hate the bathrobe. Not really my style. It is what it is. But they have, I promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, the highest level, normal price training gear. If you need boxing gloves, if you need boxing shoes, if you want the UFC collection, what they do that's really cool is they come out with collections. They have a UFC collection for the no-gi BJJ stuff because they sponsored UFC BJJ. They have a whole slew of Marvel gear. The Punisher gloves are actually sick. They have a whole slew of different partnerships that they have made to get cool, different gear out there. It's high-quality shit, and you'll get a fat discount. For Black Friday, they're doing all sorts of discounts up to 30%. And if you want an extra 10%, just use promo code WWP. Or go to we1picks.com/Hayabusa. You get 10% off at checkout every time. Then we have Alex Perez taking on Asu Almabayev. Alex Perez, pretty good striker. Pretty good low kicks. Solid wrestling. He's going to enter the pocket. He's got solid boxing combinations. Then he will finish those exchanges with leg kicks, and he'll circle out. He averages about 2 takedowns per fight. He's got a solid 77% takedown defense. He is coming off that injury loss to Tatsuro Taira, where he actually won that first round, and then his knee popped trying to support Taira's weight. I'm about to trash the shit out of Alex Perez, so I thought it was fitting to say some good things about him first. He will be taking on Asu Almabayev, a flashy striker, a dominant grappler. This guy can control the striking range. He'll work in a spinning attack or two, and then he'll shoot some big takedowns. He will control on top if he gets it there. He doesn't go looking for submissions, but he does do a great job just snatching stuff up in scrambles. He is strong. He sets a nice pace. He's got plenty of cardio, and he's coming off that decision win over Jose Ochoa, where he wrestled hard, and he just literally was just falling off. It was like when you see bear cubs on the National Geographic, and they're just like rolling down a hill. That's what it looked like. He was just rolling off people. Alex Perez, I have confirmed this, has Dana White nudes on his phone. That is literally the only explanation I could have as to why he is still employed. He's got the nudes, and they're obviously not flattering. If they were Conor McGregor nudes, and he's lifting weights with that thing, just walking around with a hammer, Dana White would be like, let it out. I don't give a shit. But it's not. So now he's got these on his phone, and they're just itsy-bitsy, teeny-weeny, yellow polka dot bikini. So Dana's like, fine, you can continue to have a job. This should be an easy win for Asu. And I get that Alex is a tough vet. I get that his losses are actually to top 5 fighters on the planet. He's not losing to nobodies. I get that he was beating Tatsuro Taira before the knee injury. That's not up for debate. That is an objective fact. Just go ahead and check the scorecards. This is just a bad stylistic matchup. Those leg kicks, none of that's going to work. Asu has too much pressure. He will spin. He will attack aggressively. He will shoot a bunch of takedowns, and he will win a decision. Asu is the pick. Over 2.5 is also as good as gold here. Minus 190, a bit of a gift on a card that has a bunch of considerable favorites. Then we have the co-main event of the evening. This is a great co-main event. This could very easily be on any pay-per-view this year or next as the co-main event. But instead, we get it here, and I'm all here for it. We got Belal Muhammad, former world champion, taking on Ian Machado Gary. Belal Muhammad, as we all know, nonstop wrestler. This guy averages a couple of takedowns per fight, and the reason he's full of decisions and only averaging about 2 takedowns per fight, he's got pretty good control. He's got solid fight IQ. He knows when he should wrestle. He knows when he should strike. The game plan's not going to surprise anybody. The striking is decent. He's not going to win any fights at the highest level, although he did finish Sean Brady with his hands. It's there to set up the takedowns. He worked his way to the title, earned that title, but he did lose it to Jack Della Maddalena, where a handful of takedowns happened, but then he just could not rack up any control time or damage. He's taking on Ian Gary. Solid striker, crazy hand speed, fantastic footwork. He is a little bit hittable. Nothing insane, and he's starting to correct it, but he is a guy that if you get in his face and you don't let him fight pretty, you can get to him. Historically, if you start getting to him, like Michael Venom Page did, he'll start shooting takedowns, and he'll look to grapple you. That's how he's averaging a little more than 1 takedown per 15 minutes. He doesn't have the big, huge one-punch knockout power, but he's got good timing, good in-and-out pressure that can catch people off guard. He has been training at Shoot-A-Box, which has leveled up his jiu-jitsu, leveled up his wrestling, but he has not leveled up the aggression. If anything, Ian Gary's going the opposite direction. He's slowing down, staying away. And while I appreciate the fact that he's basically willing to fight anybody, he stepped up to fight Shavkat, he stepped up to fight Carlos Prates, he's stepping up to fight Belal Muhammad. While I appreciate all of that, those are not easy matchups, especially 2 of them on short notice. He's still not getting after it. He's kind of waiting for the fight to come to him. My and everyone else's prediction of this fight is going to be, do you think Ian can defend the takedowns? And if he cannot, does it even matter? If Ian can keep this standing, then without question, he's going to win this fight, right? Like, what are we debating? There's not a world where Belal Muhammad just wins a kickboxing match. So let's put that aside. Ian is longer, he's faster, he's more accurate, he's more powerful. And that's not to say that Belal's striking sucks, because it does not. It's serviceable. That's a word I've used twice on this card. But they are not on the same level in the striking. We have seen both of them in similar matchups to this. Belal lost to JDM. Ian lost to Shavkat. The difference between those 2 losses is it felt like Ian made adjustments in the fight. He had multiple ways to win, where Belal, one game plan, get takedowns, and if that doesn't work, not really a plan B. So I have to go Ian here. I don't know if these judges are going to be as consistent as the American judges when it comes to not giving a shit about the wrestling, because it's not ridiculous to assume that Belal will get a couple of takedowns in this fight. And if he gets a couple of takedowns, does that secure the round? Or do these judges not give a shit? Ian Gary is the pick. I don't think he runs through Belal. I do think this is a relatively competitive matchup. And then we have the main event of the evening. We have Arman Tsarukyan taking on Dan Hooker in what is a #1 contender matchup. The idea that if Dan Hooker pulls off the win here, gets a title shot, seems a little ridiculous, but Arman was the rightful next up for the title until he blew it and faked a back injury. Arman Tsarukyan, as we all know, an incredible wrestler. He's managed to piece together a very nice striking game as well. He has good footwork. He's got good setups. He will shoot the takedowns. He'll stick around for a striking match. He's not just desperately diving at legs. He's this new generation of lightweight with the wrestling, with the striking, and with the cardio. He's coming off that win over Charles Oliveira where he got the takedowns and managed to stay safe. And then obviously he earned himself a title shot back in January, but that fight was canceled the night before because he said he hurt his back. We all know he had weight cut issues. He's taking on Daniel Hooker. Good striker. Enormous amount of heart. We saw it in his last fight. We've seen it in many others as well. Long-rangey kickboxer. He uses kicks to manage that distance. He's sharp. He's technical. He can get sucked into firefights when he doesn't need to be. His takedown defense is solid at 78%, and it was on full display in that last fight against Mateusz Gamrot where he took over late. The takedown defense and the forward pressure were enough to get it done. This is a fun fight to break down because it's almost a mirror image of Dan Hooker's last fight. In his last fight, he fought Mateusz Gamrot. And it's an identical situation. Dan Hooker could get taken down early, stay tough, and then take over that fight. Dan Hooker is a dying breed of savage. He's up there with Dustin Poirier, Gaethje, Max Holloway. He is a gamer. He will never back down, and we are losing those fighters. As the high-level athletes enter this sport, we are losing the people who will go out there and put it all on the line for the entertainment. We're losing the point-to-the-ground Max Holloways. They're gone. Ian Gary is a perfect indication of that. Arman Tsarukyan, he's a beautiful rich kid who can wrestle. We're losing the Dan Hookers of the world. So we need to appreciate him while he's still here, because that guy will go out there and he will fight to the end. It doesn't matter how well or how poorly things are going. Dan Hooker will fight. Both of these guys are coming off extended layoffs. Hooker had a bad hand injury. Arman pretended his back hurt, so he didn't have to make weight. We also have 5 rounds here. That could fundamentally change both of their game plans as well. And a random athletic commission might screw up a decision because of takedowns. I don't know how much wrestling does or does not matter to these judges. We talked about it in the last fight. It still applies in this fight. I have no doubt that Dan Hooker will make this a dogfight on the feet. He will not stop coming forward. This is a very fun scrap. I have to slightly lean. Minus 550 is insane. Minus 550 for Arman Tsarukyan is insane. I have to slightly lean Arman Tsarukyan because of the wrestling upside, but we've seen him wobbled against Joaquim Silva. We just watched Dan Hooker beat a wrestler. We just saw it with our eyes. I have eyes. I saw it with my eyes. Obviously, Arman might get a little bit of local flavor from the judges. He should be able to get the takedowns. He's got better control than Gamrot does. So if he does get the takedowns, he can keep Dan there. So Arman is the pick. But minus 550 seems way too wide, and Dan Hooker at plus 5.5 seems like it could be a decent bet. We might get phenomenal odds on it. If you don't know what that is, we talk about the plus 3.5 all the time, where every judge has to score every round 10 points or fewer. Then you total up all 3 of those judges for all 3 rounds. You add 3.5 to it. The way that math works out is you have to win 1 round. For a title fight, for 5 rounds, you do 5.5 points. The math isn't as clean as win 1 round, but if Dan Hooker has any success, can win 2 rounds, all of a sudden, you've got a very different fight in our hands. Guys, that is the breakdown. I genuinely appreciate you being here. The fact that I can sit here in the morning, film this video, push it out to the world, and I'll get a whole bunch of comments, good or bad, is insane. That's not a world I thought I would ever live in. So thank you for being here. If you want to help the boys out, click the subscribe button. It costs you nothing to just click that button, little bell, so when new videos come out, you will be made aware. As we wind down, you can expect me to have this video out every single Sunday. Christmas weekend, videos out. I don't care there's not a fight that week. Videos out every Sunday. Like, subscribe, so you are made aware of when it happens. After you do that, you can go put something in the mail for the boys. We film vlogs. We film vlogs when we go to events. We film vlogs when we host events. And we film vlogs for pay-per-views. UFC 323 is around the corner. If you want to send a letter, we just had a recipe sent to us for UFC 322. If you want to send a letter, if you have a small business you're looking to promote, send it to the boys. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. After you do that, go to the website, wewantpicks.com. By far the greatest offering this space has ever seen. The greatest set of tools, the best picks and bets, the best everything, okay? That's an undeniable fact. Maybe 1 week we missed a couple of picks, but overall, the boys got you covered. Check out the data analyzer. Check out the fight simulator. Check out the optimizer. Check out the line movement tracker. Check out the prop hunter. Check out the tape index, and check out all the boys, not just me, not just Jacob. We got Betsam, we got Artem, we have an artificial intelligence. Every single thing I just mentioned, a whole bunch of things I didn't mention for $10. 10. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Guys, genuinely appreciate you all being here. I love this sport. I have loved this sport for an insanely long time, and I am very excited to see this next evolution. I am very excited to see what the Paramount era of UFC looks like. As dumb as it sounds, I'm excited for new graphics. As dumb as it sounds, I'm excited for just new camera angles, because they are going to adjust the production. I understand it's the UFC's production coup, but they're going to make changes. I want to see what fights look like on CBS for free. I am very excited for 2026. I hope you are as well. Thank you for being here. More to come every Sunday. You can count on ya boy.